national champion and team captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain. A 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is the Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you guys are ready for a good, solid weekend. Chase, I'm just going to tell you, man, this heat, I must be getting soft, Chase, man. I was outside for probably, I don't know, it was like 25 minutes. I was talking with my neighbors. When I tell you, I just was like, God, I need to get back inside, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to really wrap my head how I used to be running around right now during this time, right? Doing conditioning, workouts. Granted, we used to do it in, the early hours of the day, specifically probably for that reason. That way we we could at least make it through. I'm just like, goodness gracious, man. And maybe it's getting hotter. I don't know. I mean, what's crazy is I feel like the temperatures have been higher than they've been, right? Like if you look at the temperatures, matter of fact, let me pull them up on my phone. I know we've been like in the low 90s. Matter of fact, today, I mean, it says 85, high of 88. So it's a little bit better. But I would say, the past few days, like 91, 92, Chase, but would you agree that it just feels like way hotter than that? Maybe it's the humidity. Maybe it's just something in there. I don't know. Would you agree with that, Chase, that it just feels hot as hell outside right now?
Man, I was when I got off work yesterday, Christian, I took Pierre out to go walk him and everything. And usually he's very subtle, he enjoys it. He did not want to step foot on that concrete. He looked at me, we both looked at each other. I said, we're going back inside. We're gonna watch some Blueies. So that's hot.
He was high stepping, dude. Yeah, I hate it because I like walking my dog. I mean, that's part of our new little routine to help him get his steps in, man. We're trying to get him in shape. We're training him. But I worry about that. I'm like, the concrete, man, it's so hot, but I don't think it's probably safe or smart to have his paws on the concrete for too long. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys have a pool or lake, river. Be careful doing that. But to jump in or something to cool off. But luckily I got my ice plunge. You guys know I've been talking about it. Make sure you guys check out Polar Dive USA if you're interested. I'm telling you right now, especially now, if you want to get into cold baths and ice plunges and all that stuff, now is the time, especially with this heat. It would be so much easier to get acclimated. You can see it on the stream right there. Code Miller gets you 10% off. Miller. Simple as that. MILLER. 10% off of any ice bath, the chiller, the combo, all that stuff on their website, polardiveusa.com. So make sure you guys check that out. In terms of what we got for you today, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of football. We're going to dive deep into some football talk, deep into the X's and O's, kind of like we did the other day. Me and my dad were looking at some plays, breaking down some tape a little bit. Well, we're going to have another character join the cast to help us do some of that and really dive into some football talk. That will be Roman Harper, former Alabama defensive back, Super Bowl champion, member of the four-letter network ESPN. He will be joining us at the top of the hour to talk a number of things, but we really want to talk some Alabama football. I want to get his thoughts on the defense. We've been talking a lot about defense, right? We're going to ask Roman about defense. He's a very smart defensive guy. I mean, the guys in the secondary, man, you talk about knowing ball and knowing defense, man, they know a lot. So we're going to pick his brain, and I really want to get his thoughts, Chase, on what he felt about the defense that we saw last season, right? Everybody talks about the numbers that we saw, ranking statistically as one of the best defenses we've seen, I think, in the last 8 years or so. But I want him to give us his thoughts and all that. Plus, we're going to take a look around the SEC. Roman covers all teams, right? So I want to get his outlook, and I think we might play a quick little game, pretender or contender, where we're going to go around the conference. Maybe not all teams. Respectfully, Chase, we might pass over a team like Mississippi State just because, I mean, you only got so much time. And there's a lot of teams in the SEC right now. So teams like that we might skip over. But we're going to try to ask him about a number of SEC teams and see his thoughts on all of them because we're getting close. We're getting really close. Football is right around the corner. Matter of fact, I believe Alabama football has put out a video, or they put one out yesterday. Maybe it was this morning. I can't remember which it was, but it's basically was saying we're 50 days away, Chase. And I had to think about that because I'm like, man, I thought we just were at like 60. I guess we're already at 50. So, I mean, it's counting down. And, I mean, right around the corner is SEC Media Days. Literally next week, SEC Media Days kicks off. And so we're really, really getting into it, right? Which is good. It's really exciting. Really looking forward to it. The new game just dropped. My brother has it. I don't have it just yet. I hadn't had time to download it. But I was watching my brother play it. I'll just say this, Chase. It looks about the same as the last one, but I feel like the environment that they enhance the environment, the crowd sounds. It feels very authentic. For example, he was using South Carolina. He goes back and forth between using Alabama and South Carolina. He was telling me though that without Jalen Milroe at quarterback on the game, it's not as, last year it was almost like a cheat code having Milroe play quarterback. I mean, you literally could virtually escape any type of pass rush, scramble, make plays. Ty looked to be pretty fast in the game, but obviously there's a difference. And so he started, messing around using a little bit of South Carolina, and they obviously have some weapons there. But anyway, so he was using South Carolina, and obviously I grew up there. I know the fight song and how their atmosphere is. Well, I'll just say this, man. I mean, just like the way they trigger the crowd noise at certain moments, way it comes on, you hear the band in certain moments, it feels very, very authentic. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool, man. So I'm looking forward to finally getting it. But anyway, I tell that story to say, I mean, football really is almost here, guys. I mean, the game just came out, SEC Media Days next week. We're really getting close, which is really exciting, man. There's just something about football season. I feel like everything's just better with football season. You know what I mean? Like every week you're just excited for the next game. And during the week, we're going to be throwing out, all the facts at you, right? We're going to be breaking things down. We'll be talking about it, diving deep into it. Right now, we're getting to the hardest part, man, the dog days of summer, but we're right around the corner from all that fun, man. And you guys are going to be loaded up on the phone lines. So we got two-time Tommy here on the phone lines, and it's going to be fun, man. So looking forward to it. But anyway, in terms of today, that's the big ticket. Obviously, we'll talk about a couple other things. You always got, plenty to dive into with the revenue sharing stuff. Got a quick little thing I wanted to bring up that is a little mishap that happened to one of our former guys, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But the big plate on the table today, Roman Harper at the top of the hour, 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. He will be joining us talking all things college football, but definitely talking a lot of Alabama football. So make sure you guys stay locked and loaded for that, because we're looking forward to that. And it's going to be one heck of an interview, right? We're going to really dive into the depths of X's and O's. So hope you guys are ready for that. That being said, we got to hit a quick timeout. As we're going to that timeout, let me remind you about our friends and presenting sponsors, the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Try before you buy, nothing to lose. Make sure you guys check them out right now. Even if you just walk in there and see what it's about, you can see them right there on the screen here on the YouTube stream, on the Facebook stream, the Good Feet Store. Their website is goodfeet.com to find that information. They will take care of you. Premium arch supports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain. Clinically proven to do so 4 short weeks, and it will knock that pain out. I'm telling you, got to give them a try. You can go in the store, try them for free, balance test. They'll show you the impressions of your arches. If you're like me, you probably, you might, hopefully you don't, but I've got pretty flat feet. I found that out quick when I went into the Good Feet Store. They explain how these arch supports work, how they'll help eliminate and alleviate that pain. You can try them out, test them out, all that good stuff. And it's completely free to go do that, right? You don't have to pay $1 to go try it out or just walk in there. So check them out. Midtown Village here in Tuscaloosa. You can't miss it, right there off of McFarland Boulevard in the shopping plaza. But they are nationwide. Goodfeet.com. You can type in your zip code, find the nearest location to you. But again, Mobile, there's one too. Nice new store down there. If you're in the South Alabama area, check them out down there. Birmingham's got a great location as well. And like I mentioned, all over the country. So make sure you guys check them out. That's goodfeet.com. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Quick time out. We'll be right back right here on this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Time 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll be right back.
The Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230 Sports Radio studio is presented by...
What's up, Kenji? I was at Disney World last week. The weather wasn't too bad there. Really? That's interesting. It's been hot here. I haven't been to like Disney World or anything like that in forever. I had an uncle that used to live in Orlando though. And I remember one year I would gone to Universal Studios. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but that was really cool. They had like the Jaws ride and all type of stuff like that. But it was cool. But Disney World, man, I know I went as a kid, like when I was young, but I don't really remember going um, anytime recent. Now I did go to Six Flags, but that wasn't. I mean, that was years ago too, but a little bit more recent than Disney, which that was cool. It was weird as I'm not even a big roller coaster guy, but that day I pretty much rode everything, and they had what was that one? I don't know if you guys have been there, but they had like the Superman ride where it straps you in like from the chest like that. I'm not gonna lie to you, and now that I think about it, I probably would not be doing stuff like that anymore. At the time, I was just like, shoot, I'll try it. I even got on the biggest one, which is called the Goliath. I think that's what it's called, something like that. But yeah, I'll probably pass on those now. I feel like I'm definitely a little bit bigger than I was last time I went, and I don't know, man. That stuff, I don't know how I feel about that stuff. Let's see. Man, chat's quiet today. Where's everybody in the chat today? I see you, Kenji. Where's everybody else at? If you guys are just tuning in, we'll have Roman Harper joining us at the top of the hour. It'll be good. Going to ask him a bunch of football questions. We're really going to dive into what he saw out of Alabama last year and what he expects this year. But I really want to talk about the defense and really get his thoughts on that from the back end and everything. Kenji says, "Hey, chat." Yeah, wake him up, you Kenji. I don't know. Everybody's quiet in the chat today. Arthur, what's up? Yeah, if you guys are in here, man, drop something in the chat. Who's all in here? Mike, there we go. T. Smitty, there we go. Now you guys are waking up. Come on, it's a Friday, man. Y'all sleep at work or something? Media Sunshine Pumping Texas.
923-6829.
Oh, man, who would have guessed T. Smitty? Yeah, they do have to replace a lot.
0.9.
We'll ask Roman about Texas, too. I'm curious his thoughts on them. Out of OKC, that's what's up, bro. Welcome in. I don't think I've ever been to Oklahoma. Hey, welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, we got you guys waking up now a little bit, man. Chat was a little quiet at first. I was like, man, I was concerned, man. I'm like, what's going on? I don't see my people. And there we go. But you know what? Always amazes me, Chase. Like when I say we literally have people that listen from all over, and not just on YouTube, but also even via the app. That's the cool thing about the Tide 100.9 app. Make sure you guys download it if you haven't already. You can stay up to date with all the latest from the shows and the articles that they write. But man, when I tell you, man, we just have listeners literally from everywhere, and it almost feels like we have more listeners from out of the state, even though obviously it's not the case. But it always feels like that because there's always someone from a different place, right? And we got Arthur in here from OKC. You got Mike from up north in New York. You got over in California, you got Tia. You got Ricky out there as well. You got folks down in Florida, Tennessee. I think the most interesting one, Chase, is we had somebody from, where was it at? I can't remember exactly where it was at, but it was like a state that you just really wouldn't think of. Was it, Utah? I think it was in Utah. But that's the thing, man. I think when you think about the Alabama brand, that's what you get. It's a global brand. You know what I mean? There's literally people all over that love Alabama, especially Alabama football, and they're looking to find Alabama news, Alabama talk, and all that stuff. So it's cool getting to see everybody from different places. So welcome in, everybody. Appreciate that. That being said, Chase, I want to dive into this. So again, quick reminder, we'll have Roman Harper joining us at the top of the hour. So 12 Central Time, 1 Eastern Time. Looking forward to doing that. And it led me to this, Chase. So Carson was in here the other day, and he mentioned that Cole Kublik had Roman on his podcast, and he had made some comments about the defense from last year. So I want to backtrack. Now, obviously, there's a lot of good stuff from this podcast, and we're going to have Roman on here right around the corner here. So I'm not going to play too much of it, but I do want to preview this because this is going to be one thing we're going to talk about. Again, Roman, you guys are very familiar with him, especially if you're an Alabama fan. Roman played here, right? All SEC player, went on to the NFL, played a long time, played with my Panthers, right? Won a Super Bowl, played in New Orleans for a number of years, but he's a defensive back. So he knows coverage like the back of his hand. He talks about it all the time with the Four Letter Network. Well, I believe it was Cole that asked him, it was, his thoughts on the defense last year. And it was kind of interesting, right? Because obviously Cole knew what the answer was going to be. He knew that Roman was going to have some thoughts on it. So I want to just play that little clip because I want you guys to hear it. And that way, when we get Roman on here in a little bit, when we talk about it, you guys will have an understanding of where, the origin of where it's coming from. So I want to pull up this spot. I think it's just maybe a minute or two of him giving his answer, but he's specifically talking about the new look Alabama defense, right? And we've been talking a bunch about it, right? I mean, Kane Womack comes in, quick little summary, right? Kane Womack comes in. We go from heavy cover 7 pattern match system with Coach Saban to now the vision-based defense, really basing out of a 4-2-5. And then in terms of the coverage component, a lot of cover 3, which interestingly enough, we ended up playing a lot of man coverage, right? So, I mean, we talked so much about vision-based coverage, but they played a lot of man coverage. Don't get that twisted. However, when it comes to zone coverage and, the principles of their defense, the vision-based cover 3 system is what they do. Well, Cole Kublik had asked Roman his thoughts on that. And that's where Roman gave his answer that I thought was pretty interesting. But again, just a reminder, we've already broken down the differences, but that would be the main gist of kind of Saban system to Kane Womack system. You got a base 3-4, which we ran a lot of nickel as well, 4-2-5. But in terms of coverage philosophy, cover 7 pattern match versus cover 3 vision-based defense. Now, we've had a year to see what that looks like under Kane Womack. Statistically, it looked pretty solid, right? You look at the turnovers forced, you look at where they rank in terms of points allowed. They did a really solid job. But just people that are really breaking it down, there's always going to be pros and cons to everything. So let's go ahead and hear what Roman had to say when he was asked specifically about his thoughts with this new Alabama defense. If I can get this, there we go, get the sound going. Here we go.
Two principles on coverage, right?
No, I don't. I don't like their eyes. And it's only because Alabama secondary, they play a lot more eyes on the quarterback. And I think that helps you make plays, but it's like math, right? You only got half the equation. So you may get the answer right, but you don't have everything, all the pieces to the equation, which the other piece of the equation to me is the most important, which is the wide receiver or the guy that's running the route in your zone. Yeah. If you don't look at him, how do you know he's there? So you're kind of just playing, and then I'm looking at the quarterback, hoping he throws me the ball. But the NFL quarterbacks that I got used to playing against, like, they never throw you the ball. You have to see the ball and your guy and then go get the ball. So I just think it's, they're not getting all the information they want. I know you wanted me to say that, Cole. So, yeah, and I'm not running from that, Cole. You know how I feel about this. You know how I feel. So until they show me differently, this is how I feel. And I'm hoping that the second year it's better.
So that was his answer to that question, which, Chase, I thought it was interesting. Again, you're talking about a guy that played a long time NFL defensive back. He played the position, played it here at a very high level. But those were his thoughts. And that was coming after, him watching that defense last year. He had the whole year, right? Now, before, remember, going into the year, we were just going off of tape we had watched of, South Alabama, other places that these coaches had been trying to get an idea, right? We figured we knew what to expect, but now we've seen it in action here at Alabama. I just thought that was interesting because, you guys have probably heard my dad's thoughts on it, and he'll be on here in a little bit too. And it'll be a really good discussion. My dad is all for it because he thinks, simplifying, in his words, right? He don't like to say dumb it down, but he says simplifying. He's all for simplifying a defense, letting guys do that, not have to think so much, letting them just read and react and make plays. But if you guys ever, listen to my breakdown of that, I also kind of was in like the middle, right? I saw both sides of it. Who's surprised there? But I also always understood exactly, the perspective from somebody like Roman that comes with those things. And so, to me, interestingly enough, he still felt like that after seeing it. I'll say this: I was a little bit more skeptical preseason than I was postseason after seeing it in action, and here's why: because I think it played out similarly to what I thought, but it actually performed a little bit better. And what I mean is that I knew, the cons that come with playing that type of defense or playing with that philosophy, right? I mean, it's just like anything else. There's going to be pros and cons, right? The pros and cons to a zone vision-based defense is literally, it allows you to play more free, allows you to hopefully force more turnovers because you are reading the quarterback. You're able to play the ball a little bit differently, and that's what Roman was explaining versus in man coverage. You typically, and that's why you used to see with Coach Saban, right? People used to complain about the DBs not playing the football, they're playing the man. So that's how the DB position typically works, right? Some coaches are going to coach, play the man, right? Some are going to lean more into playing the football. And really, most of them will tell you it depends on the situation that you're in. But in a zone-based defense where you're reading and reacting off the quarterback, like Roman is saying here, I mean, they're more focused on reading the quarterback's eyes, seeing what he's doing, right? And then they're going to react off of that. But Roman does make a great point. In the National Football League or the higher level you're playing, those quarterbacks, man, they're trained to look guys off. They're trained to really almost influence defenders with their eyes. And to be fair, there was times I think last year that you did see some of those cons, come into play where, guys are looking in the backfield trying to read the quarterback and they don't see the guy that's, running down the seam past them or getting behind them, and it led to some explosive plays. But one could also argue that, to be fair, there's always cons of playing a lot more, pattern match stuff, even though I prefer more of a pattern match system. But there were times, if you watch when we used to play it, that sometimes guys would be so caught up, running with their guy that, yeah, they would, like Roman was saying, like they have that key. But when it comes to making the play on the football, they're so locked in on the player that they're losing track of the football. Then they're not being able to make a play on that. So interesting, really perspective there. Kind of reminds me, Chase, of the whole deal when you had, Dion versus not Cromartie. Who was it? Was it Santi Samuel? I think it was. They were arguing about, the different techniques from DBs. One was talking about the T-step. Other was kind of, the pedal technique, you know what I mean? Kind of running through the break. It really just kind of depends. And there's always pros and cons to everything. But I just thought that was an interesting take from Roman on that after him watching it last year. So we'll definitely talk to him about that. But I wanted to go ahead and play that. That way you guys could have that in mind when we do get him on here in about 29 minutes or so, because we're going to talk about this defense, his thoughts on it, cover 3 system, how he feels it will look this upcoming year. With a year under their belt and much more. So make sure you guys stay locked and loaded for that. Again, Roman Harper will be joining us here at the top of the hour right here on the Miller's Edge. So we're looking forward to that. That being said, we got to take a quick time out. When we come back, we keep on rolling. We got Tommy, two-time Tommy that is on the phone lines. We'll keep breaking some stuff down as we await the arrival of the man himself, Roman Harper, right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Quick time out. We'll be right back.
At home instead, our adaptable care.
Hey, Julene, what's up? Welcome back in. Tay, what's going on, man? Roll Tide. Yeah, 50 days, brother. 50 days. It's flying by. Is that travelpreneur, like entrepreneur and travel, I guess. Sports podcast. What's up, guys? So Kendra, you're based out of VA. That's what's up. I think I've been to Virginia maybe once, or I drove through there at least. I went to West Virginia with my dad one time. Dang, T. Smitty's out in Phoenix. Damn, we keep it. I'm just gonna get a map and I'm gonna just start putting those little. Have you ever seen those those maps and those restaurants? I'm start putting those little tacks in there for you guys. Travelpreneur Sports Podcast. There we go. I said it right. That's what's up. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys, man. Also, if you guys have any questions or anything you want us to ask Roman, let us know. You can drop it in the chat. We'll try to get that for you. But again, that'll be at the top of the hour, so not too long from now. Other thing we need to hit, little news and notes, man. Did y'all hear about Najee Harris, that fireworks thing? Sounds like he's good, but sounds like it definitely was a close call, man. It's just crazy, man. Like, I feel like fireworks and football players, man, they just don't mix well. It seems like there's always some. Let me pull this up. I wonder, though, if they have more details on it. That's the only thing that's confusing.
By the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by.
Did y'all hear about this yet? About Najee with that incident? Was present at an event. So maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe it was literally like a freak accident, but it's still just crazy, man. Superficial. I mean, to me, that sounds like an exterior injury. Let's see. Now I'm playing doctor. I'm trying to look this up. I'm like, and welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. All right, we just broke down a little clip of Roman joining Cole Kubik's podcast, because, again, we will have Roman Harper joining us here in about 25 minutes or so, and I want to give you a preview on something that we're going to bring up. We're going to talk about the defense, his thoughts on it, specific stuff, right? Again, you guys know how we get down on this show. We're going to dive deep into football talk. So if you're looking to learn something about the game from folks like Roman, Super Bowl champion, guys that have played at the highest level and do a hell of a job covering it, make sure you guys are locked and loaded for that, because we definitely will not be asking surface level stuff, man. We're going to dive into some football talk. So I'm really excited about that, again, at the top of the hour. Quick news and notes. I meant to bring this up because this caught my attention, man. In terms of another former Alabama player, this time probably not so good news, right? Najee Harris was involved in a fireworks injury during a 4th of July fireworks event, and allegedly suffered a superficial eye injury. Now, Chase, I was trying to play doctor, not really, but I'm over here looking up online exactly superficial, what that means. When I hear superficial, I'm like, does that mean it's kind of like an exterior injury? You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily like internal where it damaged anything like vision related, maybe just like an external injury. But here it says superficial corneal injuries are non-penetrating injuries affecting the outermost layer of the cornea. So I don't know if it was exactly the cornea, but it sounds like he should be good. He should heal up, which is a blessing. Because, I mean, you look at other situations like Jason Pierre-Paul, he ended up continuing his football career, but now he's sitting there with what, 7.5 fingers, something like that. But it sounds like this was different. Allegedly, this was just a mishap, and this is what the statement reads, according to Najee Harris's agent, is that he was present at a 4th of July event where a fireworks mishap resulted in injuries to several attendees. Najee sustained a superficial eye injury during the incident, but is fully expected to be ready for the upcoming NFL season. It's just weird, man. Here's a stat from this news article. Government data shows that 4,700 people were treated in the ER for fireworks-related injuries in 2024, which, I guess probably isn't much of a shocker. It seems like there's always something that comes up, but I feel like it's always a football player that gets involved. Unfortunately, it was one of our own, but the biggest thing, Chase, is that, he's good to go. It sounds like he's going to make a full recovery, be healthy, and be able to continue his career just fine. But Chase, when you hear that, man, do you just wonder if it was like, if you're like me, because they don't really offer many details. Like, do you feel like it was he just happened to be at an event and something just happened to fly and hit him? Maybe something was coming down, or do you think there might be a little bit more to it? Like maybe he was engaging in the fireworks. What are your thoughts? I know we don't have anything. There's not many details, but what do you think happened with this, Chase?
I think it was probably by accident. Sometimes so much is going on when it comes to fireworks, especially on July 4th and how big it can get. So you can just literally be getting food from inside the house, walking out, or, talking to somebody and someone just accidentally flares something and you don't even hear it, And I guess the way Najee carries himself and where he's at currently in his career, I don't think he can take any, not even any chances, because, his stint with the Steelers didn't go the way a lot of people thought it would. But I think with the Chargers and where they're trying to go, I feel like Najee definitely fits that system. But I think it was just probably by accident. But if it comes out to something more, hopefully Najee and his team can kind of handle the press a little bit and just kind of move forward. But yeah, it's crazy, man. That's why I'm not really near fireworks as much anymore, because that stuff it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It does sound like it really was just kind of a mishap, unfortunate incident. There's several other people, I guess, that were affected, but sounds like everything was treated and figured out, which is good. So there you go. So praying for him, and hopefully everything heals up just fine. All right, we got to go to the phone lines. We got our buddy two-time Tommy on the line. 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. Tommy, you're up first. Welcome in.
Hey, man, how y'all doing today?
Doing great, brother. How are you?
I'm great. I'm going to give you some advice on two things real quick.
Tell me.
You're getting close to 30. I got some bad news for you.
What's that?
You get hotter every summer after you go over 30.
Don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that.
Okay. I won't tell you about the 40s even. Okay, we'll skip that.
Oh, man. Dang. Yeah, we're looking way ahead, Tommy. Goodness gracious, bro. Let me get to 30 first.
Well, I know that why I'm trying to give you a positive outlook.
Thank you.
Yeah. And your puppies, they don't need to walk on concrete or pavement. The heat burns the pads of their feet.
Right.
They can feel the heat through the pads of the feet.
No, you're right.
Very sensitive to it. Yeah.
No, but that's the unfortunate thing, Tommy, is that we gotta get some movement in, man. Because the goal is I'm trying to help one of my dogs. I got a lab that is literally, he's a big dog. I wouldn't say he's fat, man. He literally, you can see the definition. He's just a really big dog. So I'm like, man, we got to get some type of movement. But I guess I could just bring him to the dog park and let him run up there. But yeah, no, it's definitely tough,
on the grass this time of year. It's just miserable. The humidity, maybe early in the morning or late in the afternoon, but it's just miserable right now. My brother even talked about it. He said, it's miserable. I went, yes. I said, what you going to do today? I'm hiding. I said, what you mean? What you hiding from? I said, I got me a little pup tent, and I'm hiding in the back room away from the heat and humidity. I'm trying to get my little fan going. I'm in it. I'm a wuss.
Hey, man, I don't blame you. Do what you got to do, Tommy. Do what you got to do.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing from Roman. I really am. I like the idea you have the former players talking X's and O's. Yeah. It brings a better understanding of the game. I'm looking forward to that at 12.
Oh, well, trust me, you're gonna walk away with a lot of football knowledge, because I'm definitely going to get into it in terms of all that stuff, right? And he does a really good job breaking it down too. Because I know sometimes if you see you got people talking X and O's, and we're just kind of just going fast and really getting deep with it, sometimes it kind of can be a little tough, especially when you don't have a visual. But Roman does a great, and obviously he does. I mean, that's why he's been working SEC Network, ESPN for quite some time. But he does a really good job breaking it down. That way, people really understand it too. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I think you guys are really going to be fired up for it.
Yeah, I enjoy him on the SEC Network. There's not many things on the SEC Network I enjoy. I enjoy him.
Wait, well, you might have more to enjoy, because look, Tommy, quite frankly, I mean, I don't know what's happened to Paul Feinbaum, but I mean, every day, I mean, I'm seeing quotes from him that are very pro Alabama, very positive. And I'm almost wondering, man, I'm like, did he just have some personal beef with Coach Saban, or like what's going on with Paul Feinbaum? I mean, he seems very, very positive right now.
Well, how am I going to say this without getting in too much trouble? But what the heck, it's Friday.
It's free for all Friday.
Feinbaum remind me of James Carville. They both got serpent head. I really don't put much faith in neither one of them saying. I mean, they poke the bear too much, as I say. I mean, it just, I don't know. I think he's winding out, because one thing I hate about Feinbaum, so they do have great calling, but they're screaming at each other. The caller, like, "You stupid, you're dumb."
Oh man,
I don't find that entertaining. It might be entertaining. I'm like, it annoys the heck out of me. I said heck because I said the other word they did to get on to me. They really just annoy the heck out of me. I mean, and
wait, who's shouting like that? Wait, is Paul shouting back, or is it only the callers doing it?
Yeah, they call like, well, so and so from Georgia is here. No, you're dumb. You know what? From Arkansas, man. No, Georgia's better. Yeah. It's okay to talk trash. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or John Williams, but keep it towards. I mean, I know if Roman was playing the backfield, you play like, hey man, you're not catching the pass on me today. I mean, that's okay, because you got to have belief in your ability to play the game. I don't have a problem, but you're just sitting there like, and people are screaming at you. I'm like, this is not. You got to watch it sometime. I mean, it's really.
I haven't really. I mean, I've seen it come up at times, like here and there. There's been like has been on the TV, but I'll be honest, I hadn't really seen too much of it. So I didn't realize that. I didn't even know he really stood. So does he still do it the same way, like same format and everything, or?
Well, now they're going more and more podcast. I mean, I guess if you had a video, you now get to see the color. They used to put your name like, say, me from Alabama or whatever, or they'll have Joe from Memphis. And sometimes you see Joe picture him be talking live. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're moving up like that. I mean, they get more, instead of, I guess you call it Zoom calls and stuff like that. But that is about 10 or 15% of callers do that. But you can tell that's where they're going to. I mean,
interesting. Well, Tommy, do you have anything specific you want us to maybe try to squeeze in there for Roman, or you good with whatever we got? I'm trying to give you first dibs.
I think I'm good because, I have a philosophy. Sometimes you need to keep your mouth shut and listen so you learn something. So, I mean, it's okay to ask questions. I really don't. I've heard him talk before. I'm very enjoyable. I'm tickled pink that you got him. So, not really. I mean,
all right. Well, I just wanted
to. Else, man. I mean, I wasn't feeling the cover so and so, blah, blah, blah. I didn't feel to win the Super. I mean, he gets that question 100 times. I want to say, well, what are you looking for when the receiver the defense play a cover 2 or whatever cover,
Mhm.
a zone, that's pretty much basic football. But I like to hear more of the intangible. Well, we know this guy, he lines up to the left. I know he's going to cut back this way because I've done film study on him. That's the part. I'm more in the technique and the craft of the game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll make sure we get a lot of that in there, man. We'll squeeze that in for you. Tommy, what we're going to do is we're going to get Pat on here next real quick because we got Roman. We've got to get to a break early. That way we get him on time. So,
yeah.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Y'all have a great week in Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. All right. Let's get Pat on here real quick before we get to this earlier break. Pat, welcome in. I know you got some recruiting for us.
Hey, are you going to have Roman Harper on?
Yeah, he'll be on. Top of the hour. Yeah.
He's a super, super fine young man. He had classes with my son at Alabama, and I made him talk to him one day downtown at a restaurant. Just super guy. Yes, sir. No, sir. I mean, fine young man. But I got to ask one question for him, though. Ask him how fast Matt Jones actually is.
Matt Jones or Mac Jones?
Matt Jones. Matt Jones was a quarterback for Arkansas.
Ah, okay. I was about to say, I thought you said Matt, but I was like, maybe you meant Mac. But okay, Matt Jones.
Yeah, he was. I think it was Matt Jones. He was a quarterback for Arkansas, and Roman was. They beat us that day, and it was. I was been out of shape. I didn't spend any money in Arkansas. Left Arkansas quick. Hey, but look, this all happened all of a sudden. We wasn't even in this guy's top 3, and now, hey, I'm down on the coast right now. I'm down on the Boston River, Foley, Alabama, and there's a bunch of Auburn people down here, and they look like they're all butts is on fire and the heads is catching, or vice versa. Wow. These Auburn people down here have been out of shape that we're fixing to get another top 100 player.
Are you referring
stand it.
You're referring to KJ Ford?
KJ Ford, yes, sir.
So let me ask you this. So, because I met him actually. He was on an official visit here a few weeks ago, and
I think he made 2 trips to Alabama already.
Yeah, I met him.
He made one earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's high on Alabama, but I heard that he wasn't in the top, or we weren't in the top 3. Then now people think he's leaning this way. Let me ask you this:
we wasn't in the top 3, but we're in his final one. We're in his final one. Watch and see.
You think he was just trying to throw some people off, or what do you think?
No. There was some final things that I heard. One conversation that I'm not going to repeat, but that this is I promise you this: 7:30 tonight he'll be in the fold.
So he's committed.
But my question is, that's what he's going to commit 7:30 tonight. And from what I understand, like I said, I'm down the coast. I'm out of touch with reality there in Tuscaloosa today. But I'm excited that. But now Anthony Tank Jones. This does not mean that we're not going to get Anthony Tank Jones. Hear what I said. But we're gonna get Tank Jones now. We may not, and getting those 2 will show up with the defense we've already gotten. This will be a stellar defensive class. And we're only going to finish with 22 or 23 players overall in this class, but it's going to be all quality versus quantity. I'm excited about how. Coach DeBoer's impressing me just something else about being able to go in, because this is Duncanville, Texas. We got somebody from Duncanville, Texas already playing potentially to play quarterback for us next year.
Yeah.
So this is exciting times we live in,
Yeah, I talked to him about that. He was teammates with Keelan Russell, and they're obviously really close.
He helped Keelan Russell win a state championship down there before. That's They didn't win it last year, but the year before, he was instrumental in winning that state championship.
Mm-hmm.
That he had 7-8 sacks last year and like 15 quarterback hurries, all kind of crap. 15 or so tackles for loss. I mean, this guy's a real player.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't get to be a top 100 player unless you're pretty good.
Yeah,
But
I remember.
He is not Christian Miller. Don't get me wrong. He ain't Christian Miller.
No,
But he has the potential to get there.
No, I want him to be even better. But I'll say this: I do know, Pat. When I met him, I was talking with some of the coaches up there because I met him and his family, and they like him. The coaches here they really like him. Now, I don't know the details on his recruitment with some of these other programs, but yeah, I've heard he's a really good player. I never really got to watch his tape, but I'm seeing it now. He has some really good hand usage, man. And I remember that was one of the things that one of the coaches was telling me about. They said, man, this guy has a nice arsenal of pass rush moves. He's really advanced for his age in terms of his understanding of pass rush, using his hands, getting off blocks violently. And just seeing the first few clips, man, now he definitely displays that. I see where they're coming from.
Yeah,
so
before, what I was going to say, though, is that Tank is down playing with Mickey Mouse players compared to what he's playing against in Texas. That Texas down there, they have most of the kids down there are 19 years old because of the red shirting that they have for high school. Right. And so he's playing against men down in Texas versus a private school with St. Paul's.
But and you're right. I mean, that's something always to take into consideration. But there are a number of things. I mean, you can look at physical traits and other details that regardless of the competition, those will show up on the film. So that does stand out.
Sure.
And I will also add that with Tank, though, I just saw a clip of him working in the spring, man, and he was even lined up off the ball at linebacker. Just seeing him move, man, he's impressive for a big guy. Yeah, he's impressive.
Hey, there's a reason he's got a 5th star. There's a reason.
Well, Pat, we appreciate you, man. Sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, good deal. All right, we got to hit a timeout. Top of the hour in a couple minutes, we'll be joined by former Alabama defensive back, Super Bowl champion, member of the 4-letter network, Roman Harper, right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll be right back.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, it's Gary Harris. Monday morning at 9 a.m., we kick off our SEC Football Media Days coverage from Atlanta, plus Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com and Casey Smith on golf. All that and more Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide.
Dwight, what's up? You almost forgot. Bro, how you forget, man? You in here every day. Come on, man. You too. You got your eyes set on the weekend, man. So y'all don't think he's going to make it here? You think Florida's where he's going? I mean, to be fair, I mean, his huddle tape was pulled up. He definitely looks like a good player. I mean, I think it'd be a great pickup, but I'm with you guys, man. If you're in the running for Tank, and then you already got the young man, I think was it Mississippi, who's technically an edge, definitely could, grow in more to that bandit role. I mean, you got space, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, I wouldn't lose sleep if you don't land this guy, but if you do pick him up, that'd be great. But I will say, I mean, his tape, the KJ guy, is definitely very, very impressive. I cannot type today.
Instruction at 205-752-9611.
The Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230 Sports Radio studio is presented by Be Dry Alabama. Be Dry Waterproofing. Online at BeDryAlabama.com.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monty Bolaños.
In Major League Baseball, Tyler Soderstrom came in clutch for the A's.
Summer throwing and a breaking ball. Line to right center, base hit. Here's Rucker to second. Up with the ball is Harris. Around third, the plate is not nearly in time. And Soderstrom walks it off for the A's, scoring Rucker from second base. And the Athletics in the 11th inning come back and they win the series.
You just heard it all on the A's radio network. 5-4 was the final score against the Braves. The Red Sox have won 7 in a row. They held on 4-3 against the Rays. Aaron Judge walked it off for the Yankees with a sac fly in the 10th inning. New York was down 5 runs, came back to defeat the Mariners 6-5. Seattle's Brian Wu had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning that was broken up by Jazz Chisholm Jr., who is also the final participant in the Home Run Derby on Monday.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon, scattered showers and storms around through the evening hours. The high today 88, the low tonight 71. Tomorrow morning sunshine, a chance of widely scattered storms by afternoon, the high 91. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 86 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, it is now the time to welcome in our guest for today, former Alabama defensive back, Super Bowl champion, member of the 4-letter network. You guys have all heard him and seen him play. Roman Harper. Roman, welcome in, man. Long time no see.
Christian, man, thanks for always having me, man. Appreciate it, man. I mean, there's not many people that I would say consider even think about look half as good as me, and you're one of those guys.
Oh, cut it out, man. Cut it out. No, I appreciate you hopping on here, man. It's always fun getting you on here. I love listening to your takes, and obviously you talk a lot of football, and that's what we try to do on here. We try to use our platform to try to educate, our listeners on the game, talk X's and O's. So I definitely am excited to dive into that with you. But how's everything been, man? I know you said you're on the road. You're covering one of your daughters. You said softball. Is that what you got going?
No, she's in a big basketball tournament up here.
Basketball, okay.
Called the Run for the Roses. It's in Louisville, Kentucky. It's like 1,000 teams, dude. It's crazy. It's the biggest thing I've ever been to. But it's been really fun. We won our first 2 games. We have another game. Now it's in bracket play now. We had to get out of our little things. We won those 2 games. Now we're in bracket play. We have a game tonight at 9:30. I mean, so it's gonna be a late day, but we're really excited, man. It's been fun. And dude, and to put another little bow on it too, Christian, we as people on radio, we're supposed to use our platforms to educate and entertain. So that's what we're called to do. Here we go.
That's right. 100%. Well, let's go ahead and dive into it. My dad is supposed to be on here. I told him, like, man, Roman's on here, so join in whenever. But you know him. You know how he is. I mean, he might be on a golf course, might be in a cigar bar, might be in Starbucks and just doesn't know. I don't know. But
he might be busy. He might be busy. You know how he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he tried to call me, so maybe he's having trouble with this thing, but he'll hop on here in a minute. But without further ado, man, I definitely want to dive into this because we haven't had you on in quite some time, so I don't think we've even really got your thoughts on last season. Obviously, last season was a big one here in Tuscaloosa. The first year under Kalen DeBoer, the new era officially is here. Definitely some ups, a lot of downs as well. 9-4 overall record if you include the loss in the bowl game. Roman, what were your, just total thoughts on the season as a whole, year one under Kalen DeBoer? How did they perform in your eyes?
I would give it a B grade overall.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's just all about, if you would have told me that Alabama was going to be 9-4, including the bowl game after season, before the season, I'm like, okay, I can see that happen. I'm not shocked, At Tennessee, you had Georgia, who, honestly, Alabama for the first half of Georgia was like the best team Alabama had in 20 years. How explosive they looked in that first half. But then all of a sudden, you get the B grade overall, though, Christian, because you beat Georgia. Great win. Then you follow it up by losing on the road to Vandy. First time Bama's lost to Vandy in almost 30, 40 years. You just, even when I was there, we were bad. Still don't lose to Vandy. Just can't happen, especially after you beat Georgia and we're able to hold on to that game. Then, of course, you lose to Tennessee. That's not shocking. It's a road game, tough environment. That's what happens there. And then all of a sudden, you have the game that you played versus LSU. You're like, man, okay. Alabama's figured it back out. And then to follow it up by losing to Oklahoma team that was not good offensively last year. You allowed them to run the football. You turned the football over offensively. Just a bad look back and forth. You just didn't know who this team was. And so that's why you got it what you got. And then, of course, losing to Michigan at the end of the year. I mean, that's water under the bridge. That exactly showed you who this team was last year. The ups, downs, not being able to beat a Michigan team who's Michigan, but they weren't even playing their best players. So that's where that team was at last year. So the Michigan game only showed us more of who that team was. I'm really looking forward to this year of Alabama. I think it's just a totally different team and feel and vibe. You can just tell by Instagram. I hope you follow them. The way that Alabama's recruiting right now, I've never seen them break out a 68 fastback Shelby. I mean, come on, dog. That's fire. It's just different. You know what I mean? It's just different. And so that little speak and buzz, you got Williams helping recruit Ryan Williams, that is, and, you don't hear anything about Ty Simpson not being up to whatever their standard is. Whatever they're doing there, it's just starting to figure it out. And Kalen DeBoer's been a great coach everywhere he's been. So I trust him. I've got to know him. He's a great guy. And so that makes you root for those type of people even more within the program. So all the little things are happening. And, it's just such a big switch from the way DeBoer leads from where Nick Saban led for all those years. And, it takes a little time. So I expect a lot bigger things for Alabama this year as far as finishing those games. And, I'll just say it flat out. I think Alabama's going to be in the SEC championship this year.
Wow. Well, I think a lot of people would be happy if that was the result. Definitely would be nice to see us back in that spotlight. I definitely feel like it's possible. You look at the team, I agree with you that something just feels a little bit different this year. And I can speak on the recruiting. I was up there for an official.
I haven't been around at all. So everything that you tell me is fresh. Please.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, I was up there for an official visit, and you're right. I mean, but between the Mustang that they have parked right there, they've got you've seen it, I'm sure, but the new entrance, the walkway for the players coming into the stadium, that video board, man, they've got it customized where they can play highlights. They can put different slogans and things, and guys are doing photo shoots in different stations. Because I was up there, my brother was DJing in the locker room for the visit. And I mean, you mentioned Ryan Williams, man. I'll tell you this, it's crazy. They have, I mean, if they've got a linebacker on a visit, the linebacker room's there. They have running back, the running back room is there. And I think it all makes sense when you do see these guys come out after they commit and they say, hey, Alabama just had a different feel than other places. We felt a part of the family. A lot of guys say they feel like they're already on the team, and that is exactly why. They do a really good job. I know we talk about the big faces and the big names when you talk about recruiting, whether it's the general manager, whatever the case may be, but those players and those other people, they do a really nice job of really making that atmosphere feel like family-like, but you still get the opportunity to play at a university with all the resources and everything it has to offer, like Alabama. So they're doing a good job. And lastly, to your point about the inconsistency, I think that was literally like if you had to choose one word to describe last year, inconsistent would have been it. I mean, it was a roller coaster of ups and downs. And I think if they can figure that piece out moving into 2025, I think they'll definitely already be a better football team than they were last season. Roman, you're a defensive guy. You've played the sport at the highest level. You've won the biggest accomplishment possible in the Super Bowl. So you know all about defense. I want your thoughts on this Alabama defense. I did hear on Cole's podcast, you were very honest and upfront about it. So I want your honest take on it. Now, we know it's a different system. Just a reminder for our listeners, Coach Saban, his whole system was a cover 7 pattern match system that we know had a lot of success. So obviously there was going to be a little, I guess, some skepticism or concern, whatever you want to use, when you bring in a new coordinator. To be fair, the numbers that they put up last year, they were one of the top teams in turnovers forced. Statistically, in terms of points allowed, they did a really nice job. However, if you're like me, you watch the tape, you actually pay attention to what's going on the field. There were some times that I would say some of the new philosophies of this defense, definitely led to some explosive plays. I heard you talking about, some of the cons of a vision-based defense and how reading the quarterback, while it might result in more turnovers, it sometimes can get you in trouble because you're losing sight of your man. Sometimes guys are getting behind you. And we all know what happens with that. That's big play material. So tell me, after last season, you had 1 year to see Kane Wommack's new system. How would you grade it, and what do you think are some of the benefits of it, or some things that might need to be improved upon going into this 2025 season?
Well, number one, I'm not going to grade it, okay? There's more than one way to skin a cat. On a personal note, all right? I thought it was only one way to play quarterback. And that was Drew Brees for many years in my career in my NFL. And then all of a sudden I went to the Carolina Panthers and I saw Cam Newton. Right? And I'm like, I don't know if I like his style. I don't know if it's going to work, because I only knew one way. Then all of a sudden I saw Cam Newton become Cam Newton and go on and win the MVP. And everybody knows how much I rave about him as a player, as a person in the locker room. I love the guy to death. So it's more than one way to get it done. And so I don't like the eyes only on the quarterback. I think if you only see one, it's really hard to get the math equation right when you only have one part of the equation. You got to have the full thing, which is the wide receiver where he's throwing it to you. It'd be different than when quarterback was actually throwing the DB the ball. The quarterback never just throws the defensive back the ball. So if you're just looking at him, you think he's throwing to you. You have no idea where the true threat is. It's okay to have both of them. That's how you're going to get the equation right. Have vision on the wide receiver, so you can play zone and have vision on your threat. It's able to be done. Yeah. So it's just ways to skin a cat. And you got to understand, you're going to make a lot of turnovers because you have vision on the quarterback. That is true. That's why you have more interceptions in zone defenses when you only have versus man-to-man defenses, which is what I ran in New Orleans Saints. We caused turnovers, but it was because we overpopulated the football. We got the ball out in sacks, fumbles, those natures. Wasn't always the interception numbers. We're versus some of the teams in the NFL that were playing majority zone defense. Now, I played zone defense when I was in Carolina under Sean McDermott, under Steve Wilkes. These other guys where we played more quarters, really good linebacker play between Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis. Like, it's ways to do it, and it's ways to get that cat skinned as well. Well, I was on a team where you led the NFL in turnovers that year as well. So you can do it different ways, but it's also, when it comes down to the biggest moments, this is where it gets you in trouble at. When you don't have both equations, Christian, is that in the biggest moments, in the biggest parts of the game, only thing you can rely on is your technique as a defense and the things and the rules that you base them upon. If everybody's looking at the same thing, we see the equation the same way. So we all can figure it out and play it the fastest. That's what you have to do to make plays on defense. So, because you don't know the play. You don't know the play. So you have to just know it, know what you know, everybody sees it the same, and let's go play it together and react the fastest. And so when guys are just looking at the quarterback, you have no idea what's going on. Route combinations, the way offenses are built, they run combinations to attack certain places on the field, and you must cover those places in those times. And if you don't, they're going to get explosive plays, and you are not going to make the play. And unless you're better than the team.
Right.
Then that's different. It's a different case. But when it's all odds and evens, you got to go out there and out execute. And that's all I'm saying. That's why I have but it's year two. The players should be better because they should know what they can and can't get away with. You know what I mean? 100%. I'm not mad. I just know what I know. And I also know, but first thing I said was it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah. No, I think you make perfect sense. And I mean, again, I mean, one could argue even.
Oh, well, thank you, Christian. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no. Listen, I already know how it is. I mean, people hear one thing, and they don't. Oh, well, he don't. No, it's not. It's like you said. There's different ways to do things. And look, as much as I love,
and I haven't sat in a meeting with him. I'd love to sit down. I'd love to sit down in a meeting with him because, as a defensive back, I got to pick holes in it because I just know when the ball is over our head, it's the quickest way to lose a game is ball over the top. So that's what I play. Safety. I'm the last one. Nobody gets behind me. Hey, guess what, guys? It's touchdown. Like I'm the last one. And so I also have to affect the run game as well and get guys down, which nobody sees the defensive line or the linebacker out of their gap. So you got to be solid up front too. So, I'm also the same one that I just call balls and strikes, Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
me,
listen,
dog. So,
as you should, man. That's what we do here.
I'm not trying to defend anything. My bad. I need to stop talking. Go ahead.
No. You can talk as much as possible. No. I just was telling you, man. No, don't you even worry. Because the good news is, Roman, they're used to hearing my dad. He shoots them straight, and I do as well. But I try to definitely try to soften it if there are some times that I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. But so the good news
that.
is people are aware that look, when we talk ball, it's not to offend or to upset. No, it's literally just as a football player. Here, I'll give you an example. Last week, I was giving a breakdown on a recruit that we just got, man, and people immediately were saying, "Oh, he's a big, tall receiver from Alabama. He's going to be the next Julio." And when I watched the tape, I just said, respectfully, I don't see the same level of explosiveness as I had seen from Julio. Not saying he can't grow into that or not saying he won't. Just to me, he looks to be a little bit different of a receiver. And I had a couple people upset, and I'm like, listen, my football eyes, I'm telling you what I see on tape. That's all I'm going off of, and it has nothing to do with offending or anything. But the good news is I think they understand. Speaking of my dad, though, he is on the phone lines. I guess maybe he had some issues with the computer.
Okay.
He's jumping in on the conversation, so I'm gonna pass it on to him. I'm sure he's probably got a question or two for you. You with us, Pastor Payne?
Yes, sir. Bob, tell you, Hart. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing? You doing good?
Man, I'm doing great. I am actually in the car up here in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm doing my pastoral duties. I had one of my trustees' father passed away. He has a funeral.
No.
I'm doing that at 2 o'clock. So. Yeah, thank you, man. So, but yeah, I'm sitting here, man, but y'all got me fired up, bro. Listen, y'all talking ball, man, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know how we do. Like, that's real ball. That ain't just typical sports talk. What you were saying, you talking about the eyes. And I'm like, bro, listen, I can sit here and listen to y'all all day do this right here. Because that's what it is, right? That's what it is. And people get mad with me because I come at them real with that kind of talk. And tell them from what I know, my experiences, and it's not just from the fan. And I'm hoping, and I'm giving you pie in the sky, and I'm hoping. No, I'm just telling you what we're seeing, and you're so right on what you said. But I do want to ask you though, when you talk about you the last line of defense as a safety, right? But the D line, we know the best pass defense could be having that great pass rush. We talk about that all the time. If you don't have pressure on the quarterback, you don't have great push from the inside guys that flush the quarterback on the outside and have speed and length, the edge players that we talk about now. Alabama has not been Alabama up front. And to me, you can come with this creative mind and do all this sexy stuff defensively, but if you don't have big nasties, if you don't have dudes on the outside, which is where I played, you're going to have a hard time on the back end regardless of how good you can be. You can't cover a guy 3.5, 4 seconds. You can't do these types of things. Why has Alabama dropped off there? And this is my opinion. I just feel like they're not there, man. They're just kind of average. They were 13 or 14 thrown in sacks in the SEC. I mean, that's not typical Alabama defense.
I agree. I look at D linemen as people. Here we go for your Christian. Tell your listeners and viewers to take this with them. All right, we should look at D linemen because Corey's right. Pastor Corey's right. I call him Corey because we the same. So Corey,
on board.
Yeah. All right. But I view D linemen as the viewers and everybody should view like the wide receivers on offense. You have to have real true threats up front. If you don't have threats up front, that changes everything up front because now I can actually game plan my threat to get a better matchup on a guard, right? And he's going to win that in space. And so you can force different things when you have threats up front from the edge, interior pressure guy. That is how the offenses look at defenses. And so if you don't have a real true threat up front, then I can kind of just keep it going. Not only that, but I have to add more people in the box to stop the run. If teams are able to run the football on you, the way Oklahoma was able to run the football on Alabama's defense last year. So, and you can't get off the field, or the way that Notre Dame ran the ball versus Georgia in the bowl game. It's not like, like when you can't get off the field and force teams to pick the ball up, they'll just turn around and hand it off on you all day long. Then they can throw it on you too, because now you got to start to adjust and blah, blah, blah. And so that is the difference. You got to have threats. And so until those players start to emerge, then you have to try and recreate it. But Corey, you're right. And we'll have to see that. These are some of the things that, the numbers may tell you this, but what was the moment in the game when you needed to get the stop? That those are what true defenses are. That's how I judge them. And so, Corey, you're not wrong about that. All these things are yet to be determined. Yeah. I think it's a whole. Yeah, I think the young man from Carver,
Rousseau. Yeah.
When you got guys that look like players.
Yeah.
Now you got to go out there and play. You fit. You check boxes, but when do those players become those guys where now I want them to play in locker rooms on Sundays? Not just play, but start. Have a career. Be somebody that's in the league for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years, 12, 13 years, because you're an effective player for a long period of time. That's what longevity. That's how, that's how the way Pastor Miller's talking about me and Christian talking, me and you, that's how I look when I'm around him and when he's around him and his boys, like LT and those guys around fire smoking cigars late at night. They're talking ball. Like, these are the ones that you respect and you love to be around.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and that's coming. You're gonna make it next week, but I'm gonna be in Hershey next week, bro, and at the golf event in Hershey. But we.
Oh yeah, I know. I got to do the SEC media, or I want to go there because it's so fun. I got to work.
Yeah, we have a great time up there, man, at golf event. Now let me hit you with this real quick, and I'll shut up and let Christian and you guys talk. Finish up.
Y'all are good. Go ahead.
My other concern, Roman, is last year, man, we sat on the show, and man, Jalen Milroe, right? Jalen worked his tail off, got benched, came back, did his thing. He had some ups and downs. I mean, he was who he was, right? He was, somewhat Jalen Hurt-esque, if you will. Made a lot of plays with his legs at times, but a lot of times held onto the ball. Things that we know, right? He's just trying to do too much. And I said this, I think a quarterback like a Jalen Milroe or even Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. I remember sometimes these guys will listen to the outside noise so much about being the statue quarterback, the Peyton Manning type, Eli Manning, guys that don't have the athletic ability, and they try to become that, and you saying, that's not you. Bruh, just go out there and be you, right? Improvise, make plays, have a clock in your head, run when you need to run, throw it when it's there. He started to have some issues with that, and the fans were down in Tuscaloosa. Well, they're going to miss him because I'm not sure that Ty Simpson, who they got coming in now, right, he hadn't really played a lot of meaningful snaps. And so for me, when I judge Alabama and I say I'm looking at this team, how high do I really want to rate them when I know the trigger man can be the make or break guy? Can he come in and be that dude, right? Can he be the Mac Jones? Can he be whomever to help lead this football team? And for me, I just hadn't seen enough of him yet. And I think they need a little bit more than Ryan Williams when we know he's going to get bracket coverage. He's going to get robber coverage. He's going to get double team. He's going to see a lot of different stuff because everybody knows about him now. Who's going to be that guy on the outside that can beat coverage and get open? So I have concern overall for Alabama. I don't know if they're a SEC championship caliber team. I don't know if they're a playoff team. I can't make that assessment right now because there's too many questions. Your thoughts?
Great. I love this. Let me tell you why I love this right now, because this is everything I have to defend and talk about next week. This is like the pregame. This is like practice, right? Because I said what I said earlier, and this is the same question anybody else is going to have. And I agree with you. But like I said earlier, the word of the day is more than one way to skin a cat. Remember that, Christian. Started with that. Because I know I don't have to have the Jalen Milroe type quarterback to win if the talent and the players around him are all connected and we are effective enough offensively. Like, this is a team game. You win, lose as a team, offense, defense, special teams. So Alabama, first and foremost, I didn't like going back to the whole thing about Jalen Milroe. The reason why they weren't so successful last year is because we're trying to run a specific offense that may not fit Jalen Milroe and Jalen Milroe's mindset or his abilities but it's also not just him. We got to be able to run the football. First and foremost, Alabama has to be able to run the football better from the running back position. You don't need your quarterback taking 15, 20-something carries where you're calling it because he's already got 8 baked in too because we're going to throw the ball. It's the same thing I said when Alabama beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. You not throw the ball 30-something, 40 times because you're going to naturally get 8 to 10 to 12 runs. When a team that's playing man-to-man and he's going to feel the pressure, he's going to get out. Just go. Less thinking. Instead, we're running an offense where he has to make decisions in the run game and in the pass game. That affects your pass accuracy naturally. You're getting hit on too many times. That's why you don't run them in the league. You can't get your quarterback hit on. The runs have to be scrambles. I think now it will be more of that. Ty Simpson is also a former highly rated player that is actually an athletic guy that can run and do some things. He just has not had the time. But most importantly, you got to run the football effectively from the running back position. They figure that out. Everything else will take care of itself. More guys will be open. Next, you know, more bootlegs. Movement of the pockets can all come alive if you can run the football from the running back position. That's the most important thing for this offense, if they're going to have to be better on that. Now, am I going out in the dark by saying it? Yes, but I also have met this young man. I know his pedigree. I like the DNA. I've liked the kid since he came out of high school. He's just not had snaps. That doesn't mean it doesn't work or is it like disqualify you from being good in the SEC. We've seen it every year. So, you know, that's not the biggest problem for Alabama is the quarterback. Not in my opinion. I think this kid has been there. He's been through the old regime. He's been through the new regime. He's earned this time. He's earned this opportunity. The most important thing for him to believe is you are up to the standard and you deserve it. That's all he needs to tell himself.
I'm glad you said that, Roman, because I've always told people, man, especially when they look, you know, at last season, and you can just tell who's surface level or who doesn't really understand the game. Because if they immediately say, "Oh, it was all Jalen Milroe's fault," and they completely excuse the lack of running game, the inconsistencies there, having a 17-year-old be your main weapon at receiver. Jeremy Bernard did a nice job. I mean, there's so many other things, even the philosophies from, you know, the coaching staff trying to, you know, work with him. I get it. You know, definitely the systems probably weren't the best match. I'm just glad you said that. And I also like what you said about Ty, because I know how my dad is. He's going to be tough, but that's a great point. I try to explain it all the time. He hasn't had the opportunity.
I'm even tougher on Alabama than everybody else. I'm tougher on Alabama than I am any other team. I'll stand on those words. But because of that, don't mean my standards going to change. I'm sorry. They're not. And so it is what it is. But go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Corey he deserves the Alabama deserves the harsh criticism because it ain't earned.
No,
it ain't earned. And so you got to go and earn it. So it's fair.
No, 100%. No, I love this conversation. I'll say this, I don't want to hold you too long, Roman, because I know you're with your daughter and y'all got a basketball team.
No, I got to know the standard for that, right? The standard has been set for that. So that's what I was saying to them, Roman. I was like, listen, I mean, I played in South Carolina. I went to South Carolina. I covered South Carolina. I did TV. I mean, so from a player to, you know, after I retired, coming back, and I've been around this program, and it's been a program of mediocrity, right? It's just what it's been. And so if they won 9 games, right, pretty much the same identical record as Alabama last year, you know what? They turn cartwheels, right? They have a parade. They're excited about going to the Gator Bowl or whatever it was. You know, Alabama, that's not the case. You can't win 9-4 as a head coach 3-4 years in a row, you know, and think that you're gonna have a job in that 4th or 5th year. It's different. I'm just saying. Shane Beamer, on the other hand, he might get an extension. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right?
This is all very true.
Yeah. No, it's fair. It's fair.
That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, am I going to accept that as a fan, as an athlete, as a former player, as whatever, alumni? You're not going to accept 9-4. Not what Nick Saban, not what he's done put up there. You can't. So
Multiple years, no. Multiple years, no. But we're talking about 1 year.
This is a big year. I'm telling you. I think. Look, I don't think Kalen DeBoer is in any trouble right now about his job or any of these things. Or if Alabama only wins 9 games again, okay. I would also tell everybody out there that wants to hit the panic and crazy button, the schedule's changed next year. So we'll finally see what the mix of, because everybody's playing the same team. So if you had a tough schedule last year in everybody's eyes, you got a tough schedule again this year. It's just different games at different places. And so you still have the same opponents. I think next year's outlook on what the SEC does scheduling-wise will determine a lot of different things as far as what I would project as who should be worried about this. I think everybody's still safe in the SEC right now, unless you're a couple teams. Auburn is always, Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde. So, that they can turn on each other at any point in time, depending on what, how Hugh Freeze and Auburn does, which I anticipate Auburn to be better this year. So, but what is better for Auburn? 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. That's up to their fan base. I can't speak on that. I just talk about what the people tell me. So, but I think they're going to be better. I think they got 7 wins. I don't know if I can guarantee 8. But the ball you got to be lucky. You got to be lucky.
Yeah. I think they.
If you're lucky, you get 8, 9. That's what football does.
Yeah, which I'm sure they'd be a little bit happier about that. Obviously, they're in an uproar over there with their coach and recruiting, everything that's going on. But I mean,
I don't even know what's going on. You know what I do? I do know this. People are mad because Auburn has somebody decommitted from Auburn and picked somewhere else. All right, but it's funny how they mad about that, Christian. But then when it's signing day and they flipping people, it's Mary Flipping. You can't celebrate it on one when you take theirs and then be mad when somebody take yours. It don't work that way. It's like, back in the day when I was not married and you playing the game. You dating, you can't be mad when you playing the game too. I'm just telling you.
All right now, Roman, don't get in trouble on the man's bed, brother. Hold on.
Well, my wife knows me. We good. We've been cool since high school.
Man, I love it.
No,
man.
It's good. I'm just telling the truth.
No, I love it, man. Honesty is what we're about on this show. We're joined by Roman Harper, former Alabama defensive back, Super Bowl champion for Letter Network. Man, Roman, a quick question or two real quick. So looking at Alabama's schedule, I'll conclude with Alabama with this, and I just want to ask you about a couple other teams. You can just go through them real quick. But looking at Alabama's schedule, any games stand out? Now, you started the show by saying you see them being in that SEC championship game. Now, obviously, that means they're going to have to kind of, run the table in the SEC.
Roman needs some chapstick. Come on, Roman.
wait, let him explain it. He's going to explain it. So, look, we got Florida State to open things up. Terrible, record last year, but we know, they've got players, and they probably will be better this year. That's your first game on the road, so that'll be, a little test there. We'll see how it goes. On the road at Georgia, you know what I mean? Tennessee's coming here, but on the road at South Carolina, I think a lot of people circle that one. LSU, a lot of people expect to be a really good football team this year with Nussmeier and company that they have. And you mentioned Auburn probably will be a little bit better, and it's DeBoer's first time on the road. What's your outlook on the Tide? You don't have to give us a record prediction or anything like that, but is there any games specifically that stand out to you that I wouldn't call them a concern, but just something that you might have circled? And how do you feel like Alabama
got concerns all over that? I got concerns all over that schedule, Chris. There's concerns everywhere. That don't mean I can't survive them. That mean you can't get through them.
Yes,
hey. And so I also have the ability to change my opinion if they start losing 3 or 4 games. I'm not blind to be like, it's going down with this ship. I said something. I'm like, what are we talking about here? This is real life. So, all right. But I was always taught, I learned this from Sean Payton, okay? He said, if you think this is a concern or a big game, just go win it. The next is even bigger. So this is how anticipators see this team rolling. I think this team's just better. I think they're in a better place. I like what I see. It's a lot of talent on that team too. They got to put it together, and everybody's got to come together as a team. They got to play well. I think all those things have to matter. They do have the ability, and I just like them. I think it's also outside factors. I think Georgia takes a little bit of a step back. I see Georgia almost a little bit like where Alabama was last year. But the best thing about what Georgia has is what people on the outside, these experts like myself would say, which I don't think I'm an expert. I just know ball and I just see what I see. But, you know, with Georgia, all their tough games, what we would see is they're all at home. So that's good, right? So that's benefit for them. They're not going to lose a lot of those at home unless something crazy happens. But it's, for me, I have it because it's just, number one, it has nothing to do really with Kirby, more to do where college sports is at right now, where the transfer portal, you can't stack as much talent. I've only been covering the SEC since 2020. Georgia was loaded. You hear me? Loaded. They had Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. I keep forgetting the linebacker's name right in the middle. Young bro in the middle. He plays for Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Oh,
they had Keely Ringo. Yeah.
I'm drawing a
Keely
blank.
Ringo. They had, it's all right. They had 3 or 4 safeties. They had Wyatt. They had all these other guys. You know, last year they still lost Michael Williams and Malachi Stark. And Dan Jackson was their most productive safety. All right. The former walk-on player. And then, you know, they lost Smile Munden. They also lost the other best defensive lineman that they had on, you know, goes by a 3-letter name. I can't even call it out because it's so hard for me. Number 93, but still. These kids were really, really good, and they were already thinner last year. And so and I know they're going to be good on defense because they're coached by Kirby Smart. To be saying like Nick Saban's defense is not going to be good. That's just not going to happen. It's too sound. It's coached too hard. But they just don't have as many. And so because of those things, that's I think Georgia takes a small step back. You just can't replace like they used to. They continue to lose more and more. So I think this is the year for them. And then with Tennessee, I thought the game versus Georgia-Tennessee was going to be big, but Nico Iamaleava transferring out of the SEC, to me, was the biggest earthquake we had this season as far as like what affected the big shift, what game, whatever it was. Third week, Georgia at Tennessee, not without Nico. I don't know if this Tennessee team still gets that W. That sets the tone for everything else that kind of falls and dominoes down the SEC Richter scale. How early and how desperate you are because you lost the early game in the SEC determines how you play in week 10 versus a team that hasn't lost one. All those things matter when there's no longer divisions in the SEC.
Wow, man, you sound like you've been listening to the show, man. I said the same thing about Georgia and the same thing with Tennessee. I'm like, hey, look, so I might be on to something, man. I might be on to something. Hey,
we might see this the same way.
We do.
You didn't say anything about South Carolina. You didn't say anything about coming to Williams-Brice, bro. I mean, Lenore. I mean, I know the defense, they lost a lot. I get all that. I'm just trying to tell you, circle that game, brother, because South Carolina feels as though they were a better team than Alabama last year, and they let it go. And they feel there's no more – when you roll the helmet out there, the script day and all of that, where people will be like, you know, David and Goliath shaking in the boots by the army, when Alabama rolls in. That doesn't happen no more, Rome. And South Carolina feels like, hey, we put a big boy pads on as well. I think you need to circle that game. I don't think that's an easy game for Alabama.
So number one, you're right. All right, I understand that, but because you guys got the two biggest, most important factors in that game. Number one, the home field. All right. Number two, and that's a good home field for you guys. Depending on when they're gonna play it too, that's gonna matter. And so, but then it's also you got the best one at the most important position. Lenore Sellers he wins games. Period. He won them in high school. Period. I like quarterbacks that win championships. I don't care when they win them. I like the ones that win them because they don't stop usually. So guy like winners, number one. He has the ability to put a team on his back and go get buckets in basketball terms. That's what he does. That boy can hoop. And he can go win you a game. And he was just learning how to throw the football for real last year, and he got better and better at it. South Carolina did a good job of recruiting some 4-star, highly recruitable wide receivers around him. I think they got 4 or 5 coming in this year. I think one of those guys have to kind of continue to step up. If they get more threats and receivers around him that can actually make plays, run and catch situations, and he will continue to develop. They got to protect him too. You got to protect him. And so if you do that, then the sky's the limit with South Carolina too. And I know they lost a ton defensively. To me, that's why I think they're going to be kind of exactly where they are, because I don't know if and they could, right? They could. I would not be shocked if South Carolina had a great season or better season, got into the playoffs this year. Number one, because of Lenore Stellies. Number two is because, that all of a sudden, the only reason I doubt it is because I don't know if South Carolina is at that place where they now recruit and replace at the high rate that some of these other programs like a Georgia or traditionally what we see from Florida or Alabama, those type programs, because I just haven't seen it from South Carolina enough. They've had star players. They have a ton of them in the league. Gilmore down to Clowney. But who else was there with them? Sidney Rice, So it's got to have more. And last year they lost 2 or 3 up front just off the D-line that were records. Those 2 D tackles, and then Eamon Warrior in the back half, the other edge player that transferred from Georgia Tech. These guys won. The defense won games for South Carolina last year. That was the difference. So without their defense, South Carolina isn't even that many wins. It's not. South Carolina didn't win just because of Lenore Stellies. They won as a team. The same thing I talked about with Alabama. I'm holding everybody accountable, Corey. But just know, I respect your South Carolina Gamecocks. All right, my daughters like that. I like South Carolina.
They got a guy.
I like Shane.
They got a guy. Dylan.
Shout out to Shane too. His nephew plays on my son's baseball team. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm friends with his sister. Yeah, we live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, they got people. That means they got money. When you live in the neighborhood, those kind of folks, you know what I mean? You got money.
Oh, don't pocket watch on the show, brother. Don't be pocket watching, man. Let Rome.
Don't be counting nobody blessings over here. He over here counting blessings on the radio.
Hey, Rome. Hey, I'm pocket watching not just people like Rome. I'm pocket watching these high school kids getting all this NIL money. That's why C.J. Mosley is smart. C.J. Mosley, I'm going back to Alabama, and I'm going to open up me a sports agency because all these folks getting all their money, and I'm going to go get
No, I ain't even mad at him, though, because, look, we can't even blame nobody but our parents. We can't blame nobody but our parents. We were born too early. That's all they tell me. Born too early.
Fair enough.
Born too early.
Well, Roman, I'm gonna let you get back to being a parent because I know you got the basketball tournament, man. I wish your daughter the best of luck in that big game tonight, and I just want to give you your flowers while you're on here, brother, because we live in a world where there's a lot of egos nowadays. But man, you're authentic, down to earth, man. You obviously do a hell of a job breaking down football. Love listening to all your takes, man. So thank you so much for hopping on with us, man. This has been a blast, man. This has been the most fun we've had on here in a while. So thank you so much, Roman. I appreciate you, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I had a great time too, man. I hadn't talked. I told you this is like pre-practice, so thanks. I had a good time warming up. It'll be the same thing next week, man. Love y'all boys. Be good.
Yes, sir.
Love you, man. Bring your daughter success and safe travel, my brother, man. Thanks, Roman.
Thanks, baby. Bye.
Yes, sir. We'll see you, brother. Good deal, man. Great dude right there. Alabama product, former Alabama defensive back, Super Bowl champion. Obviously, you guys hear him all the time. ESPN.
Well, we got somebody on the radio that's not like Josh Pate, not like.
Wait. See, this is your problem. You start saying stuff like that. That's what people are like, man.
I'm just saying somebody that's good and keep it real, but yet still classy in what they do.
That's he's as good as they come, man. No, you can't get better than that, man. That's why we appreciate him here on the Miller's Edge. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Y'all having me on, man. I'm about 3 miles from the church, so I appreciate everything.
Well, thank you for hopping on, man. That was great, man. Have a great weekend. We'll talk. All right. Good deal. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We're not done. When we come back, we keep on rolling. Now I think about it, though, Chase, we've been flying through. We do got time for another segment or so. So if you guys want to respond to what my dad had to say, 205-342-9904 is the number to the program, or you guys can drop your responses, questions, comments, concerns right here in the YouTube chat. We got a lot of people in here. Shout out to you guys, a lot of folks listening via Facebook, Tide 100.9, all that good stuff. Quick timeout. We'll be right back right here on the Miller's Edge.
Weather brought to you by.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Mike, it's a great interview. You could listen to 3 of y'all all day. My boss will probably kill me. Yeah, don't get in trouble now. Don't get in trouble. Awesome interview for sure. Thanks, bro. Yeah, man, that's why it's always good having guys like Roman on, man, because like my dad said, I mean, he shoots you straight, but, he's very no, he's not going to, say anything crazy like that, but he's going to be honest and he's going to give a true football take, man. And you guys know that's what we try to do on here and just like he said, I like what he said in the beginning, man. Educate, but also entertain. I think that's that right there was a great example of that, man. So the goal will be, so obviously we're going to keep doing that stuff, but right now, it's a little bit busy for some folks. So, but I will say we do have some stuff in the works. During the year, we'll look forward to getting some coaches on here and some other stuff. And that's just going to be the direction we're probably going to, continue on. It's just football, X's and O's, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? I think you guys obviously enjoy it. I love it, man. I love really getting into it because everybody's, even though we see eye to eye on a whole bunch of stuff, there's always going to be different perspectives, and I love getting that. So we'll definitely keep with that. I think next week I'm gonna try to get another former player on here too. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Looking forward to doing that as well. All right, so we got some callers to get to, and we got all right, we should have plenty of time. So there we go. We'll go to the phone lines the rest of the way. Let me see if I can catch back up.
Pipe fitting.
Because we should have plenty of time on this break. Let me put this back on the screen for a second. Got to show love to the people that support us and help us put this show on. So make sure you guys, any of our sponsors, man, if you guys are ever interested in anything that any of the products or services that they offer, man, always definitely support our sponsors because they support the show and they do a really good job. Let's see. Oh, of course, QD. What's up, Q to Roman Harper? See, I didn't even know he was in a fraternity, man. He don't put on like you do, I guess. He done you got it in your whole name. I didn't know he was one. Ruben is one. Ruben, Damian Harris, Jaron Reed. Trying to think of who else. Jalen Hurts. I feel like most of the guys from football end up joining the Qs. We didn't really have too many alphas. I think Tim Keenan might be an alpha. I'm over here acting like I know a bunch about. I'll be honest, I don't even know too much about.
Find the fun at Tusk.
Offensive tackle play determines how good this offense will be this year. I'm with you. I mean, I think really the offensive line as a whole. I mean, just like Roman said, if you guys don't notice a trend, exactly why I pointed out that comment when we were listening to like J.D. Pickell. That's why I told you guys, if you ask anybody that has a deeper football knowledge about our offense, they don't – just think about this, guys. Seriously. If you ask a fan – no offense, there's nothing wrong with fans, but I'm just saying people that don't have as deep of an understanding, they immediately just blame the quarterback. Oh, it's Jalen's fault. That's all they see. But what was his first response? They have to get a running game. I was listening to the Dynasty, that podcast that Chris Stewart and AJ McCarron started. What was the first thing AJ McCarron said? Who is a quarterback? Who I'm sure his eyes are always watching the quarterback, just like I love watching edge guys. He said the running game. Like, it's one thing, guys, you will learn from this show, right? Just like I told you. People that have that level of understanding, notice how our takes kind of fall in one area versus some of the people that you might just be listening or reading things on, and it just kind of aligns with what you just see people tweeting about. You can tell when somebody just following a crowd versus somebody who actually is watching the game and breaking it down. And I don't say that to say like, oh, we're better than people. No. It's just different perspectives. And that's what you're going to get from listening to former players, listening to coaches, listening to even people that just have a deeper understanding. You don't have to be either of those two, but the people that do really watch the game and watch tape, you'll understand. You'll start picking up on patterns. I just want you guys to really think about that because, again, I didn't tell Roman what. Notice how everything he was saying is same stuff we say on here. And then you don't always hear that from people on these services and stuff that y'all are paying money to listen to.
Sitting sales and vacation ownership.
It's entertaining how we played on the show, but just always remember, I mean, not everything you read or hear is not exactly right. Just be conscious of where you get your info. But we learn. He gambled, got beaten, didn't happen again. What are you referencing, Carson? The vision coverage?
Is not a bird.
Interesting that he stated that the vision coverage focuses most on looking at the quarterback's eyes. That will get you beat on pump fakes and look offs.
Bonus vacation to Orlando.
Yeah, and that's what he was referencing. I mean, because I'm just going to tell you guys, like, especially in the NFL, I mean, these quarterbacks are literally trained. I mean, they will look safeties off intentionally, and they do a damn good job at it. I mean, the difference between high school to college to the NFL is crazy. But still, even then, I mean, I'm sure
6411.
To be fair, they work with these guys not to only or lose track of, there was other responsibilities like who's in their zone, who's coming in their zone, being conscious of route patterns and trees, things like that. However, Roman is 100% right that naturally when you do have your eyes in the backfield too much, you're too locked on something, you're missing what's around you. Sometimes it's the most important thing, the guy, right? So yeah, no, he's definitely got a great point with that.
88 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Just got finished talking and chopping it up. Some real good football talk with Roman Harper, former Alabama DB, Super Bowl champ, 4-letter network, ESPN member, man. So really good stuff. If you guys are tuning in a little bit later, miss some of it, you always can rewind and go back and listen to it. But really, really good stuff from him, and we just appreciate him hopping on here ahead of SEC, media days next week. So you'll be hearing and seeing plenty of them there. So we were really happy to get him on here before he heads down that way. That being said, we're going to go to the phone lines the rest of the way. We're going to respond to what you guys just heard. 205-342-9904 is the number. First up, I think we got Smitty. Smitty, welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, Chris, and how's it going?
Oh, man, it's great, brother. How are you?
Well, staying in from the sun here in Phoenix, but the good thing about Phoenix, when it's summertime, it's pool party season, and there's a lot of 5-stars in the metro area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can imagine. So the other good thing is that you guys don't have as humid of weather, which is that's also a plus. It definitely is hot there, though.
You ain't joking, good brother, but like when good interview with your dad at Roman Harper. And I know one thing, if South Carolina wins, your dad's internet connection going to be working just fine that week. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be working just fine.
He might be leading the show. I might have.
I know, but when people talk about questions about Ty Simpson, this is college football. This is the NFL. You're going to have new quarterbacks, and you see a lot of them. But the question I would ask is, does anyone have any concerns about Arch Manning or Texas where they replacing 4 out of 5 offensive linemen and they started Ohio State? So it's like they just get penciled in. It's like they have questions too because we haven't watched Arch against meaningful competition. And so my thing is, when people look at Ty Simpson, all we need for him to just be efficient. And don't turn the ball over. Now, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, so Jameis Winston scarred me with turnovers. But, and that was my one disappointment with Jalen Miller at times. It's like, hey, we don't have the margins on this team to survive turnovers. And when you turn the ball over, so this team was kind of limited. And that's why I was like, man, just hang on to it. And if Ty does that, we'll be fine. And I just want people to understand, Christian, there will be a lot of 10-2s now. People got to get used to that with the way the game is. Not like y'all said, you can't stack talent anymore.
Yeah.
You play tougher schedules. And I know this also, Christian. People talk about, the defensive lineman. I think Christian Barlow went second round of next year. But you know how hard it is to find that defensive lineman. It's like finding a Hope Diamond. It's rare. It's hard. You don't have 10 defensive linemen with pass rush ability going in the first round every year. And I think when you was there, he hit a lot of home runs with those guys. You see a lot of them when they're highly rated NFL or college don't work out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I tell people that too. I think you're spot on. I think people have to understand that we really were just fortunate to have a run at that position, and that's not a common thing. It's like you mentioned, defensive line is similar to offensive line. I mean, it's really any guys in the trenches, man. It's harder to really come by elite players at those positions. And so the fact that we were able to do it, for a number of years was really impressive. But you're right. I just don't know if we've had the same level of elite guys there. And the biggest thing is, look, I don't think you have to necessarily have the same amount that we had. We're blessed. But obviously, it does help when you do have that level of play, which I would say, I mean, the guys that we do have, while they might not necessarily be on the same level as, Jonathan Allen and Quentin Williams, I think they have enough potential there to do just enough to really give you a chance. And I think they displayed that, at times last year, but from a pass rush perspective, that just has to improve. I mean, if you look at any of the best teams, they all have, really good pass rush, and being like 14th in the conference, man, that's just not going to cut it. So that's my challenge for this defense is improving on that aspect.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's about finishing because LT Overton be like a kick off or hit sacks, and he might have gone to the draft if he had finished those sacks. And you know this, sacks are drive killers.
Yeah.
And the thing with Alabama defense, I mean, you guys talk about Vanderbilt the other day. You got those type of teams. You can't be giving them 2nd and 4th. You got to keep them behind the sticks or off schedule and make them throw the football. And I think the defense did improve, and we had a lot of new guys and young guys because there was a mass exodus so Coach Saban retired. But the thing that I always say is these guys are bought into this staff. They bought into this game, and like they had a full year to get adjusted to this new scheme because, like Deontay Lawson, Jahad Campbell, they were upperclassmen who only knew the Saban way, the Saban scheme.
That's true.
And so sometimes it takes a year to get that stuff going offensively, defensively, the program-wise. And I just think that this team is going to be a playoff team because of the things I mentioned. Well, what happens? I don't know. I just want to get in and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, no, I think you're. Look, I think everything you're saying, Smitty, is spot on. I mean, in my opinion, with the number of guys returning, I mean, yeah, it hurts to lose a guy like Jahad Campbell who has so much production, but I mean, virtually in the back end, I mean, outside of Malachi Moore, everybody's pretty much back. I mean, even up front, Tim Smith is a loss, but I would argue that with so many guys returning, another year with this new system, them really understanding their roles better, I think you only go up. And if you're only going up from last year's defensive performance, like Roman said, statistically was solid. Where there's inconsistency that needs to be better, yeah. But the good news is I think those inconsistencies are improved upon because of the things you just mentioned and because guys having that better understanding of the system. So no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with Roman. I think this team is better this year. He thinks that they can make it to the conference championship. I definitely think they have the potential. We'll have to see where all the chips fall. Obviously, you got a number of good teams in the conference, and like he mentioned, I mean, any Saturday, I mean, could be a tough one. So we'll have to see and let the chips fall where they fall. But I definitely agree with you, man. I think we're poised for an improvement this year. I definitely feel that.
And I'll say this before I run. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
I've been living in Phoenix for like over 10 years, so I know K on the board. Guys out there, he knows what he's doing. Just because he never ate at a Huddle House till he got to Alabama. Like, they said the same thing about Urban Meyer. We're going to teach how to play Southern football. Recruited pretty well, won a national title. They said the same thing about Nick Saban. Won some national titles, recruited well. And so I think it's about, like, knowing what you're doing. And you see with his recruit, the thing I like about the way they recruited is, like y'all said, the players are involved, but also the parents feel great about sending their baby boys to play at Alabama. And I think that is something with all the NIL and all this stuff. Parents still got to feel good about sending their kid over to you. But, hey, thanks for taking my call. You guys have a great weekend. Keep up the great work as always.
Absolutely, brother. We appreciate you, man. You have a great weekend, man. Good stuff, man. Well, I know we had one more call to get to, but unfortunately we got to hit I was going to say top hour break, but our final break because we obviously had Roman and we were interviewing him for 25, almost 30 minutes. Again, big thanks to him. So Robbie, I know you're on the lines. If you want to hold on and be in line for Wyatt's show, I'm sure he would love to have you called. I wish we could have got you on here, but unfortunately, we got to get out of here a little bit earlier today, given that we went over with the interview. But that being said, big thanks to Roman Harper again, joining the show. Great stuff. If you guys enjoyed that, man, definitely drop a like on YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Hell, even send an message to the station so you enjoyed the interview. And if you missed it, you can always go back and watch it on the YouTube channel or any platform that you might get your streaming podcasts from. Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. We will upload that there. So again, big thanks to Roman Harper joining the show for that. And big thanks to you guys, all our listeners, supporters, all you guys that call in, tune in to the YouTube stream, Facebook, all that stuff. Tide 100.9 listeners, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back here Monday doing it all over again. And remember, SEC Media Days kicks off next week. So we got plenty to dive into there right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Up next, you got T-Town Sports Daily. We'll see you guys Monday.